Staying in sync with the Forms Generator project. I'm Isaac Melton. One of the challenges of working on a group project is making sure that everyone is on the same page all the time. This cuts down on errors in the code, overlap, and generally makes for a more efficient workflow. Our team used Git as our preferred form of version control, and it ended up working well for us. Git is the best. It's ideal for group collaboration, makes it easy to share code, and easy to manage the code. Let me give some background information on Git. Git is a distributed version control system. It was developed by Linus Torvalds in April of 2005. If his name sounds familiar, that's because he's the same man that developed Linux. He's been quoted as saying that he always names his software after himself. Git is British slang for a completely ignorant, childish person with no manners according to Urban Dictionary. And as far as Mr. Torvalds, there may be some sort of truth to this. Git is an improvement over previous version control systems because there's no centralized hosting. Each clone of a repository is a full mirror of that repository as opposed to simply being a snapshot. If the centralized server were to short out or die, any of the clones could be uploaded as they are, in fact, also a master. Git is also unique in that it only resaves copies of the files that have changed as opposed to resaving the entire repository every time. This is much more efficient, and it also allows multiple developers to work on different files within the repository at the same time without fear of overwriting each other's work. This makes Git an ideal system for project collaboration because it makes sharing and managing code so easy. Bitbucket is the repository hosting service that we used for the Forms Generator project, and it comes with its own nifty set of tools as well. Using SourceTree, cloning from the hosted repository onto local machines takes hardly any time or effort. Bitbucket also provides vital tools for programming. Issue tracking. Bitbucket's issue tracker was crucial to our project's development as we could create and assign tasks for each iteration, report bugs that needed to be fixed, and assign tasks to each person as needed. When it was time to code, the issue tracker told us what needed to be done. As the project evolved, it became evident that writing many, simpler issues was more conducive to an efficient workflow than having fewer, more complex issues. This actually may be the most valuable lesson that I take away from this project. In theory, it makes sense, and for our execution, it was vital. Every commit that is made is also listed on Bitbucket, which helps us to keep up with what everybody else was doing, what everybody had been working on, when they worked on it, what they did, how they did it. Also, there's a wiki on Bitbucket that we use as a centralized place to store diagrams, ideas, submissions for each iteration, and so on and so forth. Bitbucket and Git are also extremely flexible when it comes to what kinds of projects and develop environments you're using. Essentially, it doesn't care. Our project changed course after a few weeks when we decided to change from a Ruby on Rails based project to a PHP MySQL based project. This also meant for me that I was going to move from a Linux based development environment to a Windows XAMPP development environment. We were able to continue using the same repository throughout the whole project. So, how did Git help our team specifically? Biggest issue: geography. Having these tools help keep us synced up was vital for our team, largely because there's a significant geographic distance between all of our team members. If I were to drive to Ohio and Texas to pick up my teammates and bring them back to my house in Griffin, Georgia to work, I'd be in the car for about 2,500 miles or 36 hours. That is not convenient for meetings. Also, we're all busy people with busy lives outside of school. Different work schedules, time zones, and life getting in the way meant that we were rarely online at the same time. Git and Bitbucket allowed us to keep up with each other and our project efficiently, and it can be done at 10 p.m. or 3 a.m. Bitbucket is open 24 hours a day, just like the Waffle House. Waffles. The other app that we ended up using to communicate was, strangely enough, Facebook Messenger. It was ideal for communicating ideas, brainstorming, checking in, etc. More instant communication, And it was also very handy because it was cross-platform. We could use it on our computers, we could use it on our phones, we could use it anywhere, at work, at home. I found this to be interesting as we went along, just how vital Facebook Messenger ended up being to the process. Apparently we are not alone. The Facebook Messenger app for the phone has been downloaded around 80 million more times in the last 3 years than the Facebook app itself. So, what does this all mean? In the not too distant past, working on a group project of this nature would have been far more challenging. Previous version control systems would have led to possible overwriting and been much more error prone. Something like a server meltdown would have been disastrous. Git has streamlined and decentralized sharing code, making projects like ours possible. We are able to stay on track and in sync with our project quite simply and efficiently using Git and social media.